Good afternoon, everyone. The meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner: published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Maysland. Okay, we'll have an opening prayer at this time. God of all nations and people, grant us the knowledge and compassion to wisely execute the duties of our office. We ask, O God, that you bless our nation and this world with peaceful solutions in all controversy. Amen. Amen. Okay, we'll all stand for the flag salute. Attention, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Chair, if I may, before we continue, I failed to do so when you did the moment of silence. I think it would be appropriate as well that we also remember General Colin Powell, who has been a great leader in this country, in this nation, and he served all of us well on both sides of the aisle. I like Colin Powell so much because he didn't care which side of the aisle you were on. It was right, and this country has lost a true trailblazer. So we certainly want to keep that family in our prayers and thoughts.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, if we just add Frank Giorgione, a former committeeman in Galloway Township, owner of Bagel Gourmet, a couple different Bagel Gourmets, very generous football coach, baseball coach in Galloway Township. Passed away from COVID, age 49, a couple days ago.
We'll take a moment of silence for these individuals. Thank you. Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Gatto will be coming to us virtually today. Ballas?
Here.
Bertino?
Here.
Corsi?
Present.
Days?
Here.
Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Gatto?
Here.
Risley?
Here.
And Kern.
Here. Okay, commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from September 7th, 2021. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the September 7th, 2021 minutes as presented.
Motion. Second.
Okay, motion's been made and second. We'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Abstain.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto? Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Hey, anyone that would like to speak during the public comments, please come to the podium, state the name, your name and the town that you reside. If you're attending virtually, please type yes in the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not listed on the agenda, you may speak during public comments. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, again, please state your name and the town you reside. Okay, are you ready? Not yet. You'll let me know.
We can do the ordinance first.
Oh, okay. So we will do ordinance number 10.
An ordinance to vacate and abandon an existing clear site triangle easement at a property located at 3324 Bargaintown Road, identified as block 5505, lot 20 in Egg Harbor Township, final reading.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, any comments from the public since this is the final reading? Okay, seeing none, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto? Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to our resolutions. Resolution 554, please.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for the sexual assault Response Team Forensic Nurse Examiner Grant Program, funded amount $90,238, in-kind match $22,560.
Move.
Second.
Motion's been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas,
Recuse.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 555.
Grant acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Children and Families for the Child Advocacy Center Development Grant, amount not to exceed $217,812.78.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? And we'll have roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 556, please.
Grant application to the New Jersey Juvenile Justice Commission for the State Community Partnership Funds and Family Court Services Funds, amount not to exceed $519,939.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 557.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of State Division of Elections for the 2021 Early Voting Election Reimbursement Grant, amount not to exceed $2 million.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 558.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness for the fiscal year 21 Federal Homeland Security Program, amount not to exceed $230,563.97.
Move.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Any comments from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 559.
Grant acceptance from the Federal Center for Disease Control through the New Jersey Department of Health for the detection and mitigation of COVID-19 in confinement facilities, amount not to exceed $248,052.
Motion. Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to Resolution 560.
Federal aid cost reimbursement agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for funding from the fiscal year 21 Transportation Trust Fund for the costs associated with the resurfacing of Ocean Heights Avenue sections 4 and 5 in Egg Harbor Township and Hamilton Township. Amount not to exceed $1,889,592.97.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt numbers 561 to 563, which are Chapter 159s.
Motion.
Second.
Motion's been made in second. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Any comments from the public? No? We'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 564, please.
Amending Resolution Number 465, adopted September 7th, 2021, a professional services agreement with various architects, engineers, designers, and other professional consultants from the 2018-2019 pool to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Move.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Anyone, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Forsyth?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Otto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. So resolution 565, please.
Renewal bid contract with Chapman Ford Sales Incorporated to provide preventative maintenance on county vehicles. Amount not to exceed $41,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Here.
Marcus King, 1 Philadelphia Avenue, H Harbor City. That's leased mechanics work. We have mechanics. There's a reason why we're leasing out the work that we do in-house?
I'm going to refer
You
to,
want the, Greg is on, I mean, I can answer, but,
Oh.
Greg, you there, Greg?
Yes, yes, I am, Jerry. Yes, this is for the light vehicles. We have preventative maintenance and repairs on the various vehicles throughout the county fleet. This is just, it supplements the work that we do in there. The guys have more work than what they can handle. Overtime is offered, they do step up and do overtime to get as much work done as they can. But this just kind of enhances what they do and adds to it, and gives an additional resource.
So can I ask a question? Is there an ability to hire more mechanics? And the reason why I raise that issue is under this rescue plan, there's monies to be used that's not going to come out of taxes, that gives you the ability to hire more people. So do we need more mechanics? Because it's not going to cost the county any money.
Well, I think it's a lot of pieces that go into that puzzle to try to do that. I mean, the size facility that we have, the number of lifts that we have, the amount of mechanics that we currently have is right size just for everything that we have. To add more mechanics, it would require having a larger facility or either additional facilities.
And I'll let it go. My biggest concern is when it comes to work, we don't want to lose work by subbing work out to a company when we actually do work in-house. So I'll rest with that. Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yep.
to Mr. King, also keep in mind, and this issue came up a couple of years ago, but we have been contracted with Chapman for a number of years, as Bricken just indicated. However, I don't think you'll be able to find maybe one mechanic at $41,000 a year. But even if we use the recovery money, how long would that last? So we don't want to give people false hope. We bring in mechanics. Recovery money runs out. Where we picking them up at? So you raise a good point. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody's lost any work. As they indicated, they've been called for overtime. I think the county, and I stand to be corrected, we're looking to build a new facility anyway for that type of stuff. If you know, that building is outdated, old. They doing the best they can with what they have over there.
I understand. I just heard it for today and I wanted to address the issue.
Because every year we bring this resolution up there.
And so I'll be back next year to address the same issue.
You're not invited back next year.
I was gonna say, it's good to see you, Marcus, but okay.
Yeah, we just wanted to say hello, but I mean.
I just want to alert the board to one issue. So, as you all know, we have a power transit system. So, off the top of my head, probably there's like 50 buses, vans, whatever. And what we had done was in order to keep that fleet on the road, which is very, very important to the seniors and disabled residents of the county, we allowed for work to occur on the weekends. And so if you ask Greg, Paul, nobody wants to work on the weekends. We pay overtime on the weekends. So those 50 or so vehicles stay in the fleet. It's not being done on the weekends. So all that does is just add to the amount of work that has to occur between Mondays and Fridays.
So would it be fair to say, if it's fair to say that because you're offering overtime and they refuse to work, we gotta get the vehicles fixed,
We
right?
gotta get.
And I also remember, what's that place on Route 9 right here that closed down, Citywide's in there now. But anyway, we used to take,
Gunther's.
what's it called?
Gunther's.
Gunther's. We used to send a number of vehicles there. But if the guys are not willing to work on the weekends, then if we don't have vehicles on the street, then everybody's complaining we don't have vehicles on the street, so we gotta get them repaired. So Marcus, maybe you gotta do a better job of having you guys wanna come to work too. Overtime is good right now.
Madam Chair, if I could. I think at the end of the day, I promised I wouldn't keep you here all night. I would say if that's really the case and you recognize that to be an issue, then we should be looking to hire more mechanics. That's all I was trying to say in the very
In the new facility, not this one.
And ultimately, if you're talking overtime and the guys don't want to work, by having more employees working because they're not there, then you have room to put employees in there. That's all I was saying. So thank you for making my point.
I don't know if I made your point, but I tell you what, don't come back next year.
Ask him if he lives in Atlantic County so we can raise his tax.
He knows. Listen, Marcus is on the clock and I
I
get
do pay taxes. Thank you very much.
it. Say that again, Marcus?
I do pay taxes.
Okay. Do we have any other public comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll have a roll call.
Vallis,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to bring forward Resolution 576.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 576.
Resolution in support of the proposed Veteran Affairs Community-Based Outpatient Clinic in Northfield, sponsor Frank X. Vallis.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments from our commissioners?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Ballas?
First of all, I invited the prospective owner and builder of the new Veterans Clinic. John Bernardo is here, and before we make our comments, I would just like to have him speak on it to enlighten the rest of the commissioners as to what the plan is there, and then we will speak on the reason why this proposed resolution is on for today.
Fair enough. The floor is yours.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. Mr. Ballas, thank you very much for having me over today. My name's John Baronato. My company's called Healthcare Realty Solutions. We're a medical office real estate developer based locally in Gloucester County and Salem County. We've done work in Atlantic County also. We built the Inspira Medical Center at Route 54 and Route 40, which was the old Buna Tavern, which everybody here probably hung out there. So we built a medical building there, and we appreciate the time that you've given us to come in to speak. Here's the building right here, if anyone wants to take a look at it. The building is approximately, overall, about 30,000 square feet. The Veterans Administration has leased 22,500 square feet in order to replace the existing CBOC, which is located at 1909 New Road. This property will be 2 stories. It will be more than double the size. We're going to have the only radiology department in the entire South Jersey for veterans. Recently, the VA put in almost $1.5 million worth of equipment, which includes a CT scanner and an X-ray machine. So on the 2nd floor, they're going to have a full radiology suite. So we really expect to be busy there. We go in front of the City of Northfield Planning Board on Thursday, November the 4th. So we do have to work with the city. We are cooperating with our engineers and all the other agencies that we are working with in order to get our goal of trying to start construction maybe by the 1st of the year. Our goal to have veterans. Sure. Inside the building is hopefully in January of 2023, subject to any issues or any problems with supply chain or anything like that. So the property, again, it will be almost 2.5 times as large as the existing CBOC. It's going to contain a large mental health, many mental health exam rooms. It's going to have a complete women's health comprehensive unit there. We're going to do a large primary care area, physical therapy and prosthetics. So it will be a state-of-the-art facility for the VA. I don't know if anyone, I'm sure you guys have gotten in down to Rio Grande, but there's a new one in Rio Grande that they just opened about a year ago, and it really is beautiful. And this is going to mirror that one. This is a picture of the building. This is actually the rear of the building here. We've created a drive-through area so we can keep all the patients out of the weather when they drop each other off. We're trying to do a large kind of branding for the VA that makes it look like a VA facility. I think if you go to the next page, and that will be the front of the building right there, which faces New Road. We're going to have approximately 108 parking spots. We're going to actually have van parking for the VA's vans. The VA does send their own vans out to get their patients and they bring back 8 or 9 people at a time. So we will have specialized parking for those. The facility will be operating from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity to come in and talk about this. It's really an important project to me and a lot of people around here. So thank you, Mr. Bales.
Yeah,
Thank you,
very
sir.
impressive stuff. Any more comments?
So yeah, so what I just wanted to add is, for those of you who don't know, this is proposed to go onto the site of in Northfield where Tilton Windows is located right now, an existing building. This corporation has a deal struck with them to purchase that building, demolish it, and then build this. They cannot go to settlement until the planning board approves the plans submitted by this gentleman and the VA. Everybody knows dealing with the federal government, they kept everything under wraps, very tight-lipped, just so there's no accusations of any type of impropriety that they were, the federal government was giving the job to somebody as a favor or whatever. And that's, some of the reasons that we understood from, talking with Congressman Van Drew's office and Booker and Menendez. So the chairman of the planning board has some issues because they were kind of kept in the dark about this and isn't real happy about being kept in the dark. But until that's approved, he cannot go to settlement, which delays the demolition and the construction. And God forbid that somebody comes in and buys it out from under them, then we got to start the whole process all over again. So it's imperative that the planning board approves this so he can go to settlement and they can get it torn down and shovels in the ground and get this much needed building built for our veterans. This has been being talked about for as long as I can possibly remember. So I just think it's important that we're able to do a resolution in support of this project. Of course, we're not, asking them to, waive anything that would be hazardous to the community, and neither would they, and neither would the federal government. But it needs to be expedited, and we need to get this thing done without delay, so this construction can happen. And as he said, it's going to be a state-of-the-art building, and as the liaison to the Veterans Advisory Board, he came in and spoke with us. I can tell you that everybody on that board has been fighting to get this project in this area. Of course, we have the smaller clinic that's here, and that was a huge uplift to bring that here. But to have something like this, where our veterans that are, they could be my age or 90 years old, riding on a bus to go to Delaware without a bathroom is unacceptable, especially for veterans, combat veterans that have risked their life and should not be treated that way. So that's why I brought this forward.
Just to follow what Mr. Bale said, we have done significant amount of due diligence. The owner has been extremely cooperative, and I really thank him for all of his patience with coming this far. We have done underground testing, drilling We've done what's called ground penetrating radar. We haven't found any type of contaminants on the property. There's no tanks underground, there's no contamination from any chemicals. And the project was put out by the federal government. It wasn't actually put out by any of the veterans around this area. It came out on the federal website called sam.gov. When we first got involved almost 2 years ago, there was about a handful of people that did respond. And I think what got us over the hump was our branding of the building and our location. People know where it's at. And when some people have dementia or they have issues with getting to the facility, being right next door would certainly solve that problem. And it being located maybe in Egg Harbor Township or 5 or 10 miles away. The catchment area for this was approximately 10-mile radius from this existing building. So it went all the way out towards Hamilton. So we were just fortunate that they liked our proposal, they liked our figures. And we're really excited to get started. So thank you very, very much.
No, you're very welcome, and you're right. We are fortunate in this area because these are services that we really, really need for our veterans. So, we look forward to having that here for them.
There's the director of the VA in Wilmington, Mr. Bales mentioned that he's really an advocate for providing additional services. The building also has 2,500 square feet of vacant space that they can actually grow into. So it's not like they're going to be here for 10 years and move again. So there is a significant amount of space for them to also grow into. That was part of the RFP that was sent out, and we've accomplished all of their requests. We got every single thing that they asked for inside this building, fortunately because it was a ground-up new building.
Madam Chair, just add one thing. And one thing that I learned from his presentation during the Veterans Advisory Board meeting, this will not be federal government property. This will be this company's property, and it'll be leased from the federal government to have the VA there, the clinic.
Yeah, we're not a tax-exempt company, so we will be paying property taxes on it.
Exactly.
I was
Commissioner
just,
Fitzpatrick.
thank you, wondering, do you know how many jobs will be there?
We're anticipating 35 to 40 jobs full-time, and then they also do have people that will be part-time. This is going to be expanded hours. Originally, it was planned for 8 to 5. They have since come back to us and said we want to open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 5 days a week. They are closed on the weekends and federal holidays.
That's great.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from our commissioners? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank
We
you very much
appreciate
for your
all the
time.
information.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, no other commissioner comments. Do we have any comments from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Rutino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to Resolution 566, please.
Bid contract with Aramark Correctional Services Limited Liability Corporation for the provision of laundry management services at the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $169,500.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? No. Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Rutino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 567, please.
Change order number 2, contract with Command Company Incorporated for public access along Motts Creek Road, County Route 657 at Public Dock Road in Galloway Township to extend the term date. Net increase $6,160.
So moved. Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Chair.
Are you going to talk about the side view we're getting now? For we had front, side, now upside down.
I'm working on it.
I'm sorry. Go
Well,
ahead.
the view from the dock is incredible. I'm not sure what we're. Jared, just curious, has there been any complaints from the business there, or with people parking, or vice versa from the county with people parking for the business?
We've got none. I don't know if John, maybe engineering, John, you there? We've got none. Administration's got no. phone
I haven't
calls.
heard any, so I'm just curious. But
Correct.
Yeah, we have not heard anything. Apparently, early on, some motorcyclists came and were parking there, and the owner of the establishment went out and said, no, you really shouldn't be parking there. It's for the park.
Awesome. I know it's been a very popular spot thank you, John, I'm sorry. I know it's been a very popular spot with birders. I've seen, people out there with, giant cameras and tripods, and it's been some days it's been crowded. So I was just curious if there was no confrontation or any issues. So thank you.
Any other comments from our commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Madam Chair, just let the record reflect, I know it's change order number 2.
And you said yes.
Correct, that's what let the record reflect.
And resolution 568.
Acceptance of deeds, easements from various grantors in accordance with Atlantic County planning standards.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 569.
Amending resolution number 245 adopted May 4th, 2020 to add the New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance and the Education Services Commission of New Jersey to the State of New Jersey's Cooperative Purchasing Program authorized list of vendors. No additional cost.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 570.
Agreement to accept 2 congestion mitigation and air quality fiscal year 17 Flex 5310 grant-funded vehicles from New Jersey Transit.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from our commissioners?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
To Jerry. Jerry, are these going to be used for senior transport?
Yes, correct,
Okay.
yes.
Perfect.
Okay, any other comments from our commissioners? Anything from the public? We'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto? Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to resolution 571.
Amending resolution number 183 adopted April 7, 2020, an interlocal services agreement with the Atlantic County Workforce Development Board and Atlantic Cape Community College for an incumbent worker training program for medical assistants to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Any comments from the public?
Excuse me.
You're in the middle of a public meeting now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any comments from the public?
Oh, thank you.
No comments from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to resolution 572.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with the City of Atlantic City for the provision of environmental health and hazardous response services within the jurisdiction of Atlantic City. Amount not to exceed $48,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion's been made second. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. I'll also entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions number 573 to 575 for roadway solicitations.
So moved. Second.
Motion been made second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that concludes the written portion of our agenda. Do any commissioners have any reports of special committees of the board? Okay, seeing none at this time. Any unfinished business anybody would like to bring up? Okay, seeing none. Any new business? Moving right along. We've received copies of written communications and petitions. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Gallo.
Take a minute to note and highlight the email that we received recently from John Donadio at NJAC, which made the announcement of the 2021 award recipients for NJAC, and one of them is our own Commissioner John Risley, who will be the county commissioner, inducted into the County Commissioner Hall of Fame. So just want to take a moment to congratulate John. It's definitely recognition that is long due and well deserved. So congrats, buddy.
How does he get inducted for being here 40 years?
50. Are they retiring your jersey?
41.
No?
Do we have any other written communications?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, just to make note, tonight it's exciting. The Target in Summers Point, long awaited, will have their ribbon cutting and grand opening tonight. I know a lot of people from this area have been waiting for this to open. It's a great thing. Another business, many more jobs.
Yeah.
And wish them success in their venture in Summers Point. I'm sure they'll be successful there.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. People have been waiting on this. I think I get that question more than anything.
Oh,
these
yeah.
days, but
Yeah.
Hey, Madam Chair, just on that note, I just also want to mention Drip and Scoop recently opened their doors in Summers Point, and we were able to help bring them to Atlantic County through some partnerships with our Improvement Authority and Economic Alliance. So it's another also great new business coming into Atlantic County from our neighbor Cape May County, and I'm hoping that there's some more plans of theirs to maybe come a little bit more west so that we can all get some delicious donuts and coffee and ice cream. So.
Thank you, Commissioner. If we have nothing else, we now open the public comments portion. Anyone that would like to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and the town you reside. If you're attending virtually, please type yes in the question and answer box. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please again state your name and the town you reside.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. My name is Christine McCotter. I'm from Barnegat Life, but I work here in the health department with my fellow nurses and the environmental company and our health aides. I'm here to speak on behalf of the nurses in regards to the allotment of COVID-19 funds. We have not been heard from, so we just wanted to make a statement. Beginning in February 2020, Atlantic County Division of Public Health began its response to COVID-19. In addition to our assigned duties of communicable disease surveillance, perinatal education, childhood lead cases, STD work, including the treatment of syphilis, rabies, and tuberculosis, to go on, not even to mention our clinics. The public health nurses conducted surveillance on each potential COVID-19 case that returned to Atlantic County from Hubei province in China. So we were doing the work before anybody else was doing anything. We were contacting these people and make sure they were quarantined for 14 days and recorded it in the state system. In March of 2020, we really started to fill up the positive cases of COVID-19. The public health investigators did inquiries into each case and contact traced all of these isolation and quarantine cases before the contact tracers came into place. We answered constant calls from the Atlantic County residents, and I wish we had our phone logs to prove the thousands of phone calls that we fielded from residents, long-term care facilities, hospitals, school nurses, administration, businesses, police departments, fire departments, etc., requesting isolation and quarantine guidelines. Public health handled multiple outbreaks at long-term care facilities and businesses, and now that students are back, we are also handling school and daycare outbreaks continuously. We have a long list of outbreaks that are ongoing at this moment as we speak. 4 public health nurses agreed to work every weekend on call to follow up on individual cases of of COVID-19 until the contact tracers finally were able to get on board. Beginning in December of 2020, you'll remember mass vaccination clinics at Atlantic Cape Community College were initiated by public health and supported by our administrative staff as well as the environmental departments. We gave thousands of vaccines to essential workers such as fire, police, EMTs, school nurses, doctors, retail employees. And in addition to the first responders, we provided COVID-19 vaccinations to the public with lines snaking around the building. During this period, we also went to Atlantic County Justice Facility and the Atlantic County Mega Site to vaccinate inmates and citizens. Public health nurses provided COVID-19 vaccinations to employees and patients, in addition at several detox facilities that requested vaccination. So pretty much anyone who called in, we went to them. This is during the height of COVID-19 when everybody was at home. Many other employees were at home. We were here every day working. Public health nurses have also been providing COVID-19 vaccinations to hundreds of homebound Atlantic County residents, further risking our health in private homes. It's virtually impossible to give a vaccine and monitor the patient for the required 15 minutes without going well past the length of cumulative time that the CDC recommends that one should potentially be exposed to someone. This furthers our increased exposure to COVID-19. The increased workload as well as the risk to our health, along with the constant worry of taking this potentially fatal disease home to our families, has been overwhelming. Then to hear that the public health nurses haven't been acknowledged as those that have been working through the entire pandemic is completely unfair. We read articles, we see clips, we hear meeting notes, and the public health nurses are missing from that, while we still are ongoing with helping the community. We resent that some people have gotten bonuses for not working and staying safely at home while we have received nothing. The bottom line is our office didn't close. We were here, we were out in the public, we're still out in the public. We had 4 COVID-19 and flu vaccinations yesterday, vaccine clinics yesterday. We've had about 22 in the past month. Today I was alone in Hamilton doing COVID-19 vaccinations and flu vaccinations, while my colleagues were out at 2 additional facilities. We're stretched thin, we work every day, and we show up. My colleagues were even here during periods when the building was without power and we're not allowed to go home. We showed up every day. Nobody called out, nobody left the citizens without help. We're still out in the field, and we're hoping that we can address, with the help of our environmental colleagues, the COVID-19 allotment of any kind of hazard pay or additional pay for what we've done so far. And we do hope to get some acknowledgement of our service to the community. We really do appreciate you listening. It's been a difficult year for everybody, and we just want to make sure that our work doesn't go unnoticed, because we put our hearts into it, and it's not over yet.
No.
So that's all we have to say. Is there anything?
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Justin, I know I'm probably speaking for all the board members. What you guys have done during the entire time when no one knew what was happening, you guys were there looking out for the people of Atlantic County and for the employees, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And we do appreciate, I know I speak for everybody and they can speak for themselves, for what you guys did, especially in a time when everyone ran for the corners.
Right.
You guys came out front and helped everybody.
Okay, thank you very
we
much.
We can't repay you for what you did for doing that, because it's way over and above pay. So we want to thank you for that publicly.
Thank you very much for that time.
However, I think, and I'm not speaking for administration, I'm sure there's discussions ongoing, and I know, you know,
We have a
this
meeting
board
planned, I
will.
believe, for Friday.
Perfect. I know this board wants to see everyone treated fairly as we're allowed to do. So,
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Oh,
you
yeah.
for
Madam Chair? Yeah, I just want to say, you know, it makes me sad to hear you stand up there and say this. You know, we as commissioners and administration should be thanking you from the bottom of our hearts. You know, we did a special recognition for the health department, assuming, at least by me, assuming that it was recognizing everybody, not just one person. And just want you to know that we have not forgotten about you.
I appreciate that.
We appreciate you guys are the unsung heroes. You know, hey, I'm a retired law enforcement officer for many years, and I think you and your staff were more at risk than the law enforcement officers.
And it was our pleasure to vaccinate law enforcement among the first line of defenders.
Absolutely, and I know a lot of them chose not to get it, but you know that's their choice. And you know, between nursing home, public health, you were face to face with the potential of taking this to your family, getting it yourself, and you know, maybe you heard earlier us asking, or myself asking for a moment of silence for, you know, a really good guy at 49 years old that just passed away from COVID. Yeah, he chose to not get a vaccine, but who knows whether his circumstances would have been the same if he had it or if he didn't. Who knows? And we appreciate you coming to work every day and still coming to work every day. But don't feel like you're not appreciated, because we appreciate each and every one of you for what you do, and we can't thank you enough.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I also want to echo that, and I apologize. You know, when Pat Diamond was giving the COVID updates, I thought I regularly thanked her and staff, and I apologize if it wasn't adamant enough in expressing and staff and thanking everyone that you know was helping out from the early stages when nobody really knew what was going on. You know, I do want to acknowledge that you were there, and as a school teacher, I know in March of 2020 when, you know, other schools were closing and my coworkers were like, well, what's going on? I know you're receiving phone calls, and I want to, you know, thank you for that and acknowledge that, and for guiding us through. And here we are in, you know, our third school year that's affected by COVID protocols, and you're still there for us. So again, my apologies and my thanks for everything you've done. And I can't, you know, sincerely apologize enough for not making it more clear that, you know, my sentiments were with you as well. So thank you
So much. And just remember, everybody, we're still open.
Yeah,
So if
absolutely.
anybody needs a COVID shot or flu vaccine, please come and see us, because you're all always welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mayor Christy Hanselman from Mullica Township. I am here in regards to the Green Bank Bridge. I don't know if everyone is familiar with it or not, but it is the bridge that connects Green Bank over to Mullica Township. It is the bridge that goes across the Mullica River, and essentially it needs to open almost every time a boat needs to go upriver to access Mullica Township by water. It is the only route into Mullica Township. The Green Bank Bridge was replaced quite a few years ago, and it was kept at a historical height because that is what, at that time, a bunch of people had fought, was to keep it at a historical height. In doing so, the bridge has to open and close more often than not to allow boats to go under it. When this bridge is not operational, the residents of Mullica Township cannot access their homes. They cannot access the waterway downriver. They are essentially stuck. If they're on the other side of the bridge, downriver, they can't get home. They have nowhere to moor their boats. There's nowhere to go. The other problem that we have is as you know, Mullica Township is strangled by Pine Lands restrictions. We are finally getting businesses back up and running on our river. We have two very prominent businesses that rely on the waterway to be open and operational. Without this bridge being able to open and boaters to be able to come under the bridge, their businesses are severely impacted. This is Jersey Devil Marina and the Sweetwater Marina River Deck. This summer in particular, the bridge was broken quite a few times. So at some point in time, a request was made to the U.S. Coast Guard on behalf of Atlantic County, because you are the bridge owners, to change the schedule of the bridge. I was told that the schedule was asked to be changed to mimic that of the Dorset Avenue Bridge. So the schedule was from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. It was open on demand. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. it was open every half hour and an hour. And then 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on demand again. This is not the schedule that it has been for decades. For decades, this bridge has always opened on demand. So we said, okay, let's see what happens with this proposed schedule change for the Dorset Avenue Bridge. It was a nightmare. Unfortunately, a lot of credit is given to voters that they know how to operate their boat properly. When you throw wind and current, and tides into the mix, and then jet skiers, you have very hazardous conditions. Because what happens is when the bridge closes, the boats can't go under. So the boats all bottleneck at the bridge, and they all line up, and they have to wait. Sometimes 29 minutes, until the next bridge opens. I wanted to go out and see for myself exactly if it was really that big of a deal, the bridge opening every half hour instead of on demand. And I will tell you, it was one of the most disturbing things I've seen. The jet skiers were rushing under the bridge, they're spraying the boats, they're pushing the boats into other boats, the boats are hitting each other, they're hitting people's docks, they're hitting bulkheads. It was, to say the least, a huge public safety hazard. So what I am here asking you for, commissioners, is that you sit down, and I have spoken with your business administrator, and he has agreed that anytime that discussions or any decisions are made about this bridge in the future, that he would speak with Mullica Township, because the request to have the schedule change implemented, we were not consulted with. I actually found out about it on Facebook, which I was a little upset by, because as the mayor and the representative of our township, I would think that such a big change to our waterway, I would have been consulted and brought in on any decisions regarding that. So what I'm asking now is we do have a petition that was put together by the owners of the river deck. As of right now, we have 1,420 signatures. We're planning on getting more. And that is to withdraw your request to the U.S. Coast Guard to change the bridge schedule to mimic that of the Dorset Avenue. Leave the schedule the way that it has always been. Leave it to an on-demand to reduce the public hazard and the economical impact that it has created on our town. And leave it on demand, and also better prepare for when this bridge breaks. Have a backup supply of parts. We were told that a lot of the problems where they couldn't get parts were, they were back ordered, they couldn't get them. Well, either stock up on the parts, or maybe put some of this federal money that Atlantic County has received into replacing or repairing this bridge, because it really is a huge importance to our town to have this bridge operational the way that it belongs. There is also questions as to when the bridge is broken, whether it remain in the up or the down position. Mullica Township is requesting that the bridge be left in the up position if it is broken. The reason for this is, again, boats, that is the only access to Mullica Township via water. Boats cannot fit under it when it's broken. Cars do have alternate routes around. So we're asking that if it is broken, that the county leaves it in the up position until it is operational. There's one much more important aspect to leaving it in the up position, which our fire chief will speak to, and his request as to what he believes is best for the bridge in terms of the emergency management standpoint. Gary, do you want to join me? And
sure.
He'll fill you in on that, so that way at the end we can all talk.
Gary Franklin, Mullica Township. I'm going to read a prepared statement, and then I'll answer any question that you may have. Okay. I'm chief of the Sweetwater Volunteer Fire Company in Mullica Township. By way of introduction, I am a lifelong resident of Atlantic County, first half in Egg Harbor Township, second half in Mullica Township. I have volunteered in the fire company for 30 years and have been chief for 23 years. I've also actively volunteered for the county, 32 years as a 4-H leader, and 12 years and currently as a member of the Medical Reserve Corps. I have never had the need to address this body before. However, my fire district is facing a public safety issue of sufficient importance that is within the purview of this body to address. I am speaking of the issue of the Green Bank Bridge. This bridge is a historic structure which has a low clear span below the bridge with roadways at grade and limited engineering options for improvement
on either side of the Mullica River. Being a historic structure, it uses technology which is dated and unique. I suspect that certain replacement parts take a long lead time to obtain. And this past summer, the bridge had repair problems and could not remain on its normal open on-demand schedule. Sweetwater Volunteer Fire Company provides two important emergency response services. First, we provide fire suppression services in Mullica Township and fire suppression mutual aid to Washington Township, Burlington County. Second, we provide water and ice rescue services along the Mullica River from Batstow to Little Lake Harbor Bay. And during the boating season, we have a boat in the water ready to respond. We have been dispatched many times over the years, are an active participant in the U.S. Coast Guard Search and Rescue Forum. We support the way things have been done in the past with the bridge opening on demand to boaters approaching the bridge. This type of opening has always allowed for a much lesser number of boats in the downstream channel from the bridge, which allows for safer passage of our boat on emergency response calls. The downstream channel of the Greenbank Bridge is narrow, with active boat dockage on the Greenbank side, which also functions as the red marker edge of channel. The current downstream of the bridge is swift and the channel narrow. If the bridge was on a scheduled opening basis, the channel would become crowded and dangerous to operate within. With the bridge opening on demand, the bridge is down almost all the time, which allows for emergency vehicle operation over the bridge almost instantaneously. If we had to drive around the bridge by either going the Batstow Way traveling east down 542 or through the Lower Bank Way traveling west up 542, it would significantly affect our response time, jeopardizing our mutual aid responsibilities. Simply put, whether we are doing a water rescue call or a firefighting call, the Greenbank Bridge situation works best from a public safety perspective if it remains on an open on-demand basis. We are therefore requesting, we, being the Sweetwater Volunteer Fire Company, are therefore requesting that the County of Atlantic maintain a sufficient store of spare parts of this historic bridge's motor and gear components to make timely repairs in order to keep the bridge operating on an open, on-demand basis. In our opinion, this will serve the public safety in a way that minimizes any loss of property and any loss of life. Thank you. And any questions I can answer.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can I? Sure. You said that you weren't informed about the change in schedule.
We were not informed of the request of the U.S. Coast Guard to change the schedule temporarily to the Dorset Avenue. No, we were not. I found out about it on a Facebook post.
Temporarily?
Yes. So what it was, and this is my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that a request was made to the Coast Guard to do a
by whom?
By the county, by your administrator.
Well, so you gotta understand, the Mayor, you're talking about two different topics here. So the first topic was, bridge was not operational. So we needed a consultant to come in, the consultant came in, and we still had a problem because the gates would not go up, red light would not work, so consequently it was a safety issue. So we sent our guys thinking it was an electrical issue because the light wasn't working. Without the light working, the red light working, the gates will not come down. Okay, so we sent our guys, we have a traffic unit. And so going through this process, the Department of Public Works made the decision to change the schedule in order to accommodate somebody coming in after we had the consultant come in to do the work necessary to make the bridge operational. So they said they didn't know about it. I just want to make sure everybody understands. I didn't know about it until I got the phone call from a lot of residents saying, the bridge is not operating on the on-demand schedule. So I had to call, and they explained to me why they did that. Their fear was that they wanted to be able to control the bridge on a regular basis, meaning it was going to go up on the half hour, go and come down, then go up on the hour, so that they could control on a regular basis just to see whether or not there was going to be any more issues. And the Coast Guard, you have to understand, to get them to agree to this is like pulling teeth to get the Coast Guard to agree with you. They agreed. They understood the significance of the problem we were having. The second topic that they're raising now is that we're going to change the schedule again. We've been back on the on-demand schedule, and we're going to stay on the on-demand schedule. And what I told the mayor was, if the bridge were to go down again, obviously, these guys know that they got to call me now. They just can't make this decision independent of the county. They're going to call me and tell me that if there's an issue, then I'll work with the Mullica Township on working through those issues. The only concern I have here is that leaving the bridge up. I'm not quite sure I understand the fire chief's concern here. Leaving the bridge up, that's one of the concerns we have, is because it does require, if you leave that bridge up, everybody cannot go over that bridge. So you then have to take your safety vehicles and take them another route. So I'm not quite sure I understand why they
Right,
want to leave the
those
bridge
were like
up.
conflicting
So-
statements.
Right.
So the issue is we have, our fire trucks could go around, but our fire rescue boat, the search and rescue boat, cannot go under if the bridge is stuck in the down position. And it is currently the only boat on the Mullica River that performs that task. So that's why it's a hard choice as to what is the best option, and that's why we're asking to have the supply of parts there to hopefully not have to leave it in the up position or the down position, to make sure that it's always properly maintained and operational. But the township has taken the official stance that, and we have a resolution that we have passed, and we will forward that to you, that if the bridge is broken, we do want it left in the up position, because that is the only way that the boat can make it down past the bridge. We had a resolution, it was passed unanimously at our last committee meeting. The resolution will be forwarded to all the commissioners for your review. And we are asking that the bridge remain up so that our rescue boat can make it downstream to provide life-saving, services, being that it's the only boat on the Mullica River.
If I might add to that answer, because it does seem like it may be a conflict. We would like the bridge to open on demand and also be down most of the time, all right, because it allows us to go over and do mutual aid to Green Bay. If the bridge is broken in the winter, our boat is not in the water in the wintertime. There's ice on the water or water rescue call. We actually use our small truck. It's rigged for water rescue, and we can access certain points of the river. So we take our boat out of service. It goes into service in late May, and it comes out in probably early November. If the bridge would be broken in the wintertime, we would like it to be down so we can get emergency trucks back over there. If it's broken during the summertime, we don't have a problem if it remains in the up position, because our water rescue activity then is important. But, like I said, I would like to have it on demand and have the best of both worlds. And I think that what we would like is to make sure that the county makes a commitment to have a store of parts and the capability to put the labor into fixing the bridge, in an exigent manner, so that we would have the bridge out of service in a matter of days rather than a matter of weeks. Okay, thus allowing us to minimize, the risk.
I'm a little confused. I'm a little slow. So it takes me a little time to comprehend. But I thought I heard the county administrator indicate that the bridge would be on demand.
So right now, that is what we are requesting, is that the county reach back out to the U.S. Coast Guard, because Hal Pitts, the 5th District U.S. Coast Guard Commander, said that there's still a request in by the bridge owner to change the schedule permanently, and that there will be a public hearing sometime between January and March to change the bridge's schedule permanently to every half hour an hour. So right now it is back to on demand. It is.
So
I want
my
you to
question
know, I don't care what they put in. I don't care what our staff put in. I'm telling you right now, the bridge is on demand. I don't know.
It is on demand.
I can't tell you. I cannot tell you what they put in. I've spoken to Greg. Greg is on. My conversations with Greg is the bridge is on demand. That's what the Coast Guard has requested. That's what we're doing.
Okay,
so Greg
hold
is
that
there,
thought.
right.
If I may, Madam Chair, hold that thought. So we're clear. I'm clear.
Yes.
It's on demand.
It's on demand and
So
will be on
if
demand.
that's the case, it's on demand, so that's a moot point at this point,
That's correct.
in my opinion.
That's correct.
However, the other issue becomes, and I heard the chief and him indicate, if there's problem with the bridge with parts, do we have a plan in place to stack up on parts?
Well, Greg is on. I would.
So I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time if it's on demand. Let's go to the next issue.
But it isn't a moot point, because what we're requesting is that the county actually submit a letter to the Coast Guard saying that you are okay, that any confusion be cleared up, because the Coast Guard at this point in time, as of last week, is intending on moving forward in this winter to having a public hearing to changing the schedule, because they said that the bridge owner requested it to be changed to, I know, and that's why I'm asking that the county send a letter to clear it up.
The county administrator, and I'm not putting words in his mouth,
I understand
has
that.
indicated.
He has
that
indicated
they have made the county administrator has indicated they have made the decision as the owner of the bridge. It's on demand.
Yes.
You're saying, at least I'm thinking you're saying, you're asking the county now to notify the Coast Guard that says, yes, we're having this bridge left on demand.
Correct. That is what we're asking.
And if his word is not good enough, as the county administrator, as the keeper of the gate, so to speak, then this is a damn problem.
It's not that his
Because
word
the
isn't
problem
good enough,
becomes-
we're asking that he clarify any confusion that the Coast Guard has. Because at this point in time, the Coast Guard still thinks that the
Okay,
county
let
wants
me rephrase this. Jerry, have you had a conversation with the Coast Guard?
I've spoken to the gentleman once, and that was during the time period where we were on the hour. And I asked him, I said, we've had this issue, and I know you granted us the permission. We're going back on demand. That was my conversation with him. So I think we had
Would it
agreed
be
on
any harm?
September 1.
Would it be any harm, just asking,
Yeah.
is there any harm, county administrator through our solicitor, your solicitor, that sends a letter to the Coast Guard that says, herefore, we're putting this bridge on demand to further notice?
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
I have no problem at all doing that.
Okay, that's round one.
Yeah.
The second thing, because I think we all competent to understand that that's the decision you made through your Director of Public Works.
Right.
That bridge is on demand only.
Right.
So we don't need to spend a whole lot of time on that. The question now really becomes, and I'm somewhat familiar with the Dorset Avenue Bridge when I was an employee of Public Works, so I get that part. Is there any plans going forward to at least have some parts prepared in the event that bridge goes down for any reason?
Well, you probably need, Greg is on.
Fine, I was just directing it to you.
Dorset Avenue Bridge. You can't keep those parts, because some of them have to be pre-made. Some of the parts we already have on site. I mean, that's why I would ask Greg, what do we have on site? For example, lights, those kind of things, or, they're in stock, and we have our own crew. We go out and do the work. There are certain parts of that bridge that you guys have all sat through, the Dorset Avenue Bridge, and the commissioner will get the list of the last 20 years, what it's cost us. Those parts, some of them were actually fabricated in Japan. This bridge is a similar bridge. It's a Pascal bridge. It is, you've got to open and close it. So some of those parts you don't have on hand because they're very expensive, and you have to prefabricate them. So my point is Greg probably can tell us what parts he has on now, and I can't tell you all the parts involved.
I think telling us what parts they have, we probably don't have a damn clue what parts the bridge needs. However.
That's part of, Commissioner, I think that's part of the problem, that there's so many different parts that could be needed. I don't think we could stock everything that could potentially go wrong with the bridge. We do stock many of the different switches and lights and different things that are standard, but not every single component of the bridge. With a bridge like that, I'm not sure that would be possible or practical. So yes, we do stock a lot, but not everything. And the other thing, the bridge has a lot of safety functions to it. You're lifting a lot of weight, so there are arms that have to come down. There's a barrier gate to stop people from driving into the water. The light has to come on, and everything has to flow in sequence. And some of those safety functions that are electrical sometimes have problems. Other times we have to get the consultant, a specialist, to come in to get everything working just the way that it is. So we just had the perfect storm this time around with one problem after another. But we do stock a lot of the basic basic parts. But I don't know that we could stock everything.
I understand Commissioner Corsi is going to reserve the rest of his time for Mr. Commissioner Martino.
No, I didn't say that, but Madam Chair, I will yield
You
to
will
my
yield
senior
to
member.
your senior
But I just have one question to follow up when he's done.
Thank you very much. You know, just not to beat the dead horse, you've already discussed the issues with parts. You're gonna have only certain parts in stock, and we all understand that. I think the next protocol you want to establish is that if the bridge is out of commission in the summer, the bridge stays up. If the bridge is out of commission in the winter because of parts, the bridge stays down. I think we could set that as a general guide, and that satisfies Mullica's request, at least when the bridge is operational. So that way we know that. Is that something we could do, Jerry, and codify that? So they have a schedule, from, you give us like from May, when you got your boat in the water, from the beginning of May till the end of October. If the bridge goes down, it's gonna stay up. If it's from October until next May through the winter months, if the bridge goes down, it stays down. You're satisfied with that when you have your boat in the water?
Yeah. I just want to make sure you understand there is another side of this story.
The traffic side.
Mark is not on.
Traffic side.
I will have Mark come to the next, he could not make today. But I'll have Mark here, because Mark's had to go to the other side of the bridge and get those 2,000 people that are screaming.
The traffic side of
at the county. So there is a lot of, right. So-
Jerry, I think, wait, I think this, Jerry, I think that as a general comment, we're saying that you do that, but if the bridge is gonna be out of parts for weeks, we're not telling you in the summertime to leave the bridge up for weeks.
Right.
You're gonna have to put the bridge, it's common sense we're talking about.
Exactly.
So,
There'll be more
that's-
conversation. I guarantee the mayor, there'll be more conversation with the
That's
township.
There is a schedule for the bridge of when it operates on demand, which is April through November. So when we could just follow that schedule would be best. So the April through November, when that bridge is on demand, then that's when it would be left up. And then from November through April, when you have to call 4 hours ahead, then that is when it would be left down.
And Mullica
And
understands
that's
that
very
if we
simple.
can't get parts for 3 weeks, the bridge is gonna be down for traffic.
Yep.
Whether the time of the year it's gonna be down, because if that's the case,
Well, what
because
we
we
would
can't
like to
leave it
do
up.
is actually have him call us. If it's gonna be, say
All
more
right.
than 1 week, call us and let us discuss it with him.
That's fine.
If I may, Chris Silva from Mullica Township, on the committee in Mullica, former mayor. I hope this is a learning lesson in respect to decisions being made from Mullica without any of our input, that we can get stronger from this and have a better understanding of each other's needs. We try to be a good neighbor with the county. But when I hear that decisions are being made by another town outside the county that had impact on what the county did, that's a little disturbing to me.
That's not what they said.
Well, you said that there was 2,000 people screaming out on the other side of the
What I
road.
said was, I got asked the question about leaving the bridge open. What I said was, there is another side of this story. And the engineer is not here today because he couldn't be here today, but the engineer will be here next week or in 2 weeks, and he will explain the other side of this story. The bridge connects two different counties. And so there are issues that will drive some of the decisions they can make. Not that they're right or wrong, but they are ones that the staff, when they're in the field, they have to make some decisions. They don't always consult me on these decisions, and I don't think they have to consult me every time, but when they're gonna make a major decision, they understand that they've got to call me and let me know. Because in some of those decisions, I've got to talk to the executive about the impact. So what I am saying is, that did not impact their decision. Their decision was based solely on the fact that they needed to take action with the consultant. The consultant came in, and they had to do something with the bridge. They took those steps, and they took the steps without discussing with anybody except the Coast Guard. And so and I got involved because I think the mayor called me, and I had several other residents from Mullica Township call me.
I think part of the confusion comes in is that there's, my understanding from talking to various people in the Coast Guard, there's a standing letter saying that this was a trial period, and if it was successful, that's what the county wanted to move to. And so the idea from Mr. Corsi is correct, that another letter needs to go and saying, hey, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah. And so that the commissioners are aware, I did attend Green Bank's meeting because the bridge connects us to Washington Township to Green Bank. So I did attend their meeting and spoke with their committee, their mayor, their public, and they are now on the same mindset that we are. So we are now all in agreement. We sat down, we talked about it at the public meeting. It was a very good, connection of the two neighboring towns because they are Burlington County, we're Atlantic County. So we did have a very productive meeting, and they are in agreement with what we are requesting. So it really should not have any pushback from the other side of the bridge.
Thank you for that.
If I could add one comment, Commissioner Bertino, it would be good if the county staff knew what the critical parts were, the long lead parts were, had them available, and maybe performed more frequent inspections on the bridge to make sure that it was operational and there was nothing that would cause it to go out of service. If they could do that, I think that you probably have the problem that we witnessed this past summer minimized. So I think we're also asking for a little bit more diligence with regards to that as well.
Okay, I think our staff understands that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have him here to answer it.
We know all bridges over 20 feet get reviewed and inspected every 2 years.
Okay.
We appreciate your time, Commissioners. Thank you very much, and we are glad that we were able to come to a resolution on this, and we look forward to. And if you don't mind, when you do send the letter to the Coast Guard, if you wouldn't mind sending it also over to Mullica Township, so that way we have a copy of it, for our records, and we can ease our citizens' minds because we field phone calls in the hundreds over this bridge. So we would, really appreciate to have that, so that way we can use that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you being here.
Jerry, could you also just, when you copy that letter to them, copy it also to Washington Township? That way, everybody that's involved is all on the same page.
I just wanted to say that this is a communication issue. And even though staff are in the field and have to make decisions on their own, whether they should notify you, and also anybody else who is affected. We've heard nothing about us without us. So, you have to tell the people who are involved.
Out of all fairness, I do want to say that I did have a conversation with your administrator in regards to communication. He promised that anytime that the bridge was down, that they would call me. The bridge has gone down once since then, and I did receive a phone call. So the communication has been resolved. We are very thankful for that, because your administrator did keep his word that anytime it went down, we would be notified, and we were.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I think we have Michelle Post. I have to get somebody that's been, on the WebEx to bring up that has a question.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Sure can.
I'm using my phone for the first time, so I wanted to make sure it was working. I just wanted to know if there's any update on the political sign issue. Remember, at the last meeting, the law department was going to look into what the legal rules are in terms of Supreme Court decisions and things.
Yes, we do have an update on that.
Yes, let me go over here. I can tell you, we did do research into this, and the county.
For the record, you are.
I'm County Counsel Jim Ferguson, and you all know me. So, but in any event, we remove signs from the county right away. We don't remove signs from private property. We have the right, when we remove signs, it's done because of safety issues. We don't regulate the content of signs. It's not like the county takes down more Democrat signs than Republican signs or vice versa. Okay, gentleman was here the other week and he said, we don't have the right to do that because we don't own the property. That's right, we're not the title owner of the property, but under the law, and it's the an act called the County Road Act, it's under Title 27 of the New Jersey statutes, provides that along county roadways, the county has in effect an easement over a certain portion of that roadway. And the county has the right to control things within that portion of the right of way. And that includes making sure that there are no obstructions because there can be safety issues involved here. not only in terms of obstructing a motorist's view, but also in terms of if somebody loses control, there is an area of the roadway, which is called, I want to find it here, called the clear zone, which would enable a car, if it loses control, to be able to go off onto the side of the road and not hit anything. And that's areas to be left unobstructed to allow for greater safety along the roadway. So when our public works people, they've been doing this for years, removing signs. This is not directed against one party or against one individual. It's a process to ensure that our rights of way are properly preserved for public safety. There is no constitutional violation here. I don't care what the gentleman said 2 weeks ago. If he thinks there's a constitutional violation, then he'll have to pursue whatever remedies he thinks he can pursue. I think we're correct in our analysis that we have the right to make sure that those county rights of way are clear. And just as I indicated before, just to be very clear on this, we do not go on to private property and remove signs. That doesn't happen. And if he ever comes across an instance when that has happened and filmed something, we want to know about it because, our people don't have the right to go onto private property and remove signs. That's not going to happen. So are there any questions?
Madam Chair?
The only thing, oh, sorry. I was just, so in other words, nothing will change about the way you're not telling the public workers to do anything differently. The policy will continue as it has.
As far as I know, that's the case, Michelle.
Okay, thanks.
The other thing, I just want to make sure, and Jim touched on it a little bit, but we maintain the right of way. So that's the other issue. I mean, so if you have signs in there, how are we going to maintain it unless we take the tractors or whatever and the mowers and go over the signs? But I think Ms. Post actually saw that there are, if you remember, the question was raised, do you take other than, or you should take down all signs, not only political signs. I think she saw, and again, I don't want to put words in Ms. Post's mouth, but she saw other commercial type signs. They come out.
Yes.
They do come out. I mean, I can't tell you they come out every single day, as I said. If a truck is not in an area, they're not paying attention. But if they see those signs that are in the right of way, then everything comes out. Nothing should be in the right of way at all.
Yeah. And I made that very clear after we had the speaker here a couple weeks ago who was claiming that there were commercial signs left up. And I said to Jerry, I said, if that is the case, that has to change. Because commercial signs, or what's called commercial speech, has even less protection than political speech under the First Amendment. And if you're going to remove political signs, then people who advertise, like for construction or whatever, those signs have to go also. And our people have been instructed to do that. Just can't go planting things in the county's right of way.
Right, and your remark about they go up, the truck may not go by there the next day, and then they take them down, they go up again. So it's a continual thing, and someone may see them, but it could be a matter of a day or two that they actually see them and take them. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Jim, I think what needs to be said, and with the help of the press of Atlantic City, is I haven't heard a number, okay? When you were talking about, you're very vague as far as how far back the setback is. We've heard 6 feet, we've heard 15 feet, we've heard 12 feet, we've heard 20 feet. The county mows back probably 25 feet. What is Public Works being told, and where does that start? From the edge of the macadam, that's where the grass starts? Because it's not just people that are running for office that are putting the signs out. People pick up your signs and they stick them everywhere, and you see signs. It's horrible. They're all over the place. But if they're put in conformance with what the county workers are told, state workers is a totally different issue. But at least we're not creating work for all these county workers to go out there and keep grabbing up the signs. If the county is saying they're telling their workers they have to be back 10 feet or 6 feet or 1 foot, whatever it is, I think that needs to be said and printed in the press so people who pick up your signs don't put them in the wrong spot.
I'm not sure exactly what the width or the breadth of that area is. I had this research done. I did not look at the statutes myself. I will do that and will clarify that.
But I think either Jerry or Greg, somebody could say what they're telling their people.
Hey, Greg, why don't you go through, I mean, the rights of way, why don't you go through the rights of way? For example, residential area versus let's go out and, you know, if you're out in, let's talk about either Mullica or Hamilton out in Mizpah on one of our roads. I mean, it's the rights of way have you know, could be 15 feet, 33 feet, 55 feet. Why don't you go through that so they understand what you guys are doing out there?
Yes, certainly. So the rights of way really vary depending on what the needs are out there. So if it's just signs out there, it may be one width, but then if there's drainage, it may be another. So if you talk about a rule of thumb, we usually subscribe to the Pinelands best mowing practices, which is one pass with the mower. So that's about 8 foot. So if you to just come up with a general number on the straightaway, I would say that if the signs were in an area that was like 10 foot off the edge of the road, that they would be something that we wouldn't bother. The corners are a little bit different because you have sight obstruction. You need clear view to be able to see around the corner to make sure the traffic is clear is coming. So that setback would be even further. You would along the woods line would be a good rule of thumb for the corners.
I mean, you know that the Pinelands made change years ago about what you can cut now. So
Sure.
like Greg was saying, so you get a pass, you know, maybe 6 to 8 foot. It used to be, like you were mentioning, maybe 20, 25 foot. So that's why when people go by state and county roads now, you'll see the grass, you know, 5, 6, 7 foot high. That's because it's outside the area that Pinelands is recommending that you know. I'm only acknowledging.
Okay. Okay. Do we have any other comments on this issue?
Questions?
Okay, no. Thank you very much.
No, I'm fine.
This is that's pretty soon. Commissioner.
We're still in open. Good afternoon. My name is Marcus King. I'm the president of Teamsters Local Union 331. My address is 1 Philadelphia Avenue, where I do sign the check to pay taxes. I just want to bring to your attention that there's been a lot of conversations about the rescue plan, the American Rescue Plan, and there seems to be some confusion. And I know last meeting we had folks from another union raise an issue, and they requested a meeting, and they got a meeting. Well, I just want to say that we requested a meeting, and there is a meeting this coming Friday, right? And so the unions can raise the issues. But we did have some people who have worked diligently through this pandemic. Our whole home aides had to go out and go to people's homes, right, with their proper PPE, but they worked through that time. They're not medical doctors. They don't take the Hippocratic oath of saving lives, right? They're clerks, right, under our contract. We have the folks who worked in our animal shelter who are clerks who worked straight through the pandemic. And so the reason why I'm up here, because I'm just a little confused, and I know we'll get the answer on Friday, so I'm not here to badger or argue. I'm just confused that there are some folks under the same job titles that were put on a work schedule where they worked 1 week and they stayed home a week, and they were paid. And then we have folks who work every day who put their lives at risk. And I know you heard the whole story last meeting about people work in tragic situations. Well, these clerks did, and they're clerks. They're not the highest paid employees in the state of New Jersey. They're actually close to the lowest paid employees. Not even arguing that today. But my confusion is, under the rescue plan that the county put out, under the general overview, in that last sentence, it says the county has met with its department heads to input, in addition to the county staffing budget committee, and they will initiate in the 2022 budget meeting in September of 2021, a full plan and effect of the state monies of this recovery. And I guess my real question is at the end of the day, there was something done for clerks, but not everybody. And I don't know who exactly to address that to, and I guess Jerry is always the fall guy. But the question is, how do we take care of some and not take care of others? And even if it was we gave, and this was in the newspaper article, so I don't want to misquote you. Even if it was equivalent of $4,000 for those folks who had the opportunity to work from home. Unfortunately, our folks can't work from home. They have to come in and they have to do this work. How do we not take care of them? So I'm real excited about having this conversation on Friday. In full disclosure that the county was willing to. But I guess my real question is, how do we decide under this plan? And in this plan that was put out, and I don't know if it was updated, so I apologize if it was, it talks about meeting with the department heads and coming up with a plan. But the only thing that this plan actually talked about is how you're going to spend money on projects and heating systems. And it does talk about public health, but it doesn't really talk about what we're doing. And so I'm hoping that through this time today, that we can actually come up with a plan that covers everyone and not just certain things. And I don't think that's too much to ask. I did have one of the members from the animal shelter did want to, please. Because I think this is important for you all to know that we are doing this work and what we're doing.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Audrey Cowie. I am a full-time animal attendant at the animal shelter, along with, there's a few of my co-workers back here that are also full-time. I'm just going to read over it here. So I've been there since 2018. Normal job responsibilities for animal attendants. We care for lost and stray animals, we clean up after them, interact with the public, to adopt animals out like we're face-to-face with the public. We've been open every single day to hopefully either get the animals back to the rightful owner or adopt them to a new home. I mean, for the residents of Atlantic County, the animal shelter is something that's very important to them, trust me. It's very important. And I feel like that we get a little neglected. You know, 240 Old Turnpike, it's been alive and kicking the whole time, every single day. We also have people that come from out of state that come in, you know, we don't know where they've been. They come in, which is, you know, fine, but we have been, again, open every single day. And also, I'm just gonna, there was a statement released for the state of New Jersey on April 27, 2020. Including pet grooming businesses, pet daycare, and pet boarding businesses shall be considered essential retail space. I am an essential worker. My ID says it right here. We work tirelessly at the shelter to take care of the animals that would, you know, they could be running around strays on the street, cause a car accident, anything like that. I cannot say enough how important the animal shelter is to the community of Atlantic County. It's very important. We get stuff every day. We get animals. We get one animal out, we're going to get 10 in. But we're still going to take care of all of them individually, hoping we can get them a new home or return them to their forever home. And I hope I said it enough that we were there every day. I could read a little more, but I feel like that's just too generic, kind of. So I hope you guys, I made some sense, and if you have any questions, please ask me. If you want to adopt an animal, you know where to go. Okay? Anything? Anybody? Okay. Thank you so much for this. Oh, sure.
So, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've seen and heard on the news that there are animals that have contracted COVID. Have you?
That, and see, that is, now
the
that
same
you ask
thing?
that, that's another, we don't have that, but that is another thing that, and a mindset for some people would surrender their animal because they believe they could get COVID from it, not knowing the whole outcome of, or the truth to that. Now, we've never had anything in the animal shelter like that. We are a very clean facility. You know, we do the best that we can, but yeah, I don't know
So
that.
you have had people turning their animals in because their
Absolutely.
pets in because they're afraid of getting
Absolutely.
COVID from their dog or
Absolutely.
cat or whatever.
So they're gonna give it to us.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So,
Thank you.
okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Marcus.
No worries, you're welcome, and thank you all. Last piece before I sit down. Everybody else is good? Last piece before I sit down, here's what I'd like for you guys to think about, because again, under this rescue plan, one of the issues that we're having, and I did speak with county about this, is that back in December, the county did an awesome job, probably one of the only counties and municipalities in this area, covered people who went out on COVID or COVID-related issues from December, when the federal government stopped contributing towards those monies, through December 4th. And the county covered people who went out on COVID, and I thank you for that, and I don't take it for granted. But one of the other problems that we're having, now that we're past June 4th, now if somebody who may be in an animal shelter contract COVID, whether they have the vaccine or not, and they're out, they have to use their own time. And at some point in time, people are going to use all their bank time, and you understand this more than anybody else. Once they use all their bank time, then the question comes to whether or not somebody can be terminated because they really broke their leg and now they're out of work. So there is resources in here, and I'm talking specifically, and I want to be clear about COVID being out, whether you contracted or you get it from a family member. If you're out under COVID, I'd like for you guys to think about that when you look at this rescue plan, because there is resources in here, and it doesn't really identify, but I think that this is one of those areas where monies could be used. And again, and I asked this question to the county, from December to June, how much did we spend, or how much was spent to cover people who were out on COVID? And they didn't track it that way, but I'm curious to know, these monies get used, and then I believe next year they get used again up to 2024, and then you have to give an allocation. But I think this would be a good resource for these monies, which I'll bring it up again on Friday, but I wanted to bring it all to you as well when you have your internal meetings. So thank you for listening to us, and I'll answer any questions.
No, and I thank you for being here and bringing your concerns to us and setting up a meeting with Jerry. I mean, that's the way, we do things. We talk, we discuss, and we, come up with solutions. So thank you very much for everything that you brought to the board.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you, and I promised somebody we wouldn't be here that long, but I don't know. She'll let me know later. Thank you.
Madam Vice Mayor?
Yes.
So let me just, Marcus made a comment, and he's right, and I think on one issue he's wrong. One, the federal government didn't help any of us when they came up with the idea. Police and fire was exempt from using sick or vacation time if they went out on COVID. They can stay out forever, and that's the problem we're having in Atlantic City. So we're having that problem. If you're John Q, the public, whether you work in public works, the clerk's office, et cetera, now the federal government says once that data's come and gone, you now have to use your own time. That's not something we can change. It's because the federal government said police and fire, and they specifically said police and fire did not have to use none of their time. So I could give you a rundown, as you indicated, how many people we got out that's still using that in the police and fire department, and it's unfair to the other people. But we're under strict rules from the feds, what we can and cannot do if you're out on COVID-19. Now, I think it's right? No, but.
Let me just say this one thing. The federal government also gave each municipality and counties their choose what they want to do. And that's why I raised this issue, and that was written in the law back in December. This county chose to continue to pay. That was my point. Now we have these monies to use. In this report, it doesn't really say how those monies are going to get used, and that's why I'm going back to your report. And all I'm saying is this is one way. I don't know who the budget keeper is of these dollars, but that is one conversation we could possibly have. and we're gonna address that on Friday.
Yeah, that's
But it-
not
but
like
it- but it
detailed,
still
doesn't
said
get
that-
into the depths of
Teachers are
it.
not the only one.
I'm sorry, Jerry?
The teachers are not the only union that's asked for that.
Right, I'm
Other
saying,
union-
I was just
other
actually
unions have asked.
responding to Marcus Scott, and he was right on one side. We're just caught, and I'm gonna use the city because we have that problem. Every day, we're closing down a division. Because one has come up part of the week, and, you know, you get this 48 hours, and if you already had the vaccine and you come back negative, you can come back to work right away. However, police and fire, they got the biggest damn loophole. Some of them are legit, and you question some of the other ones. And if you're going to do that from the federal, I think they just should have been across the board. But at some point, I think we all would agree, a lot of them has abused the system. No question. And the ones who really need it are getting screwed because you had somebody abuse the system.
Just so the unions know, we'll discuss this on Friday, you know, I think there's 18 or so unions. But one of the things, the plan that you see, as you know, the American Rescue Plan gets promulgated, and the money became available immediately. So we get like, you know, an award of like 52 million, and they send you 26 million immediately. They want the plan, like, the plan was like within 3 months of getting $26 million. So we put a plan together. We budgeted 19 million so far. I mean, that's what, if you went into our budget for 2021, there's roughly 19 million. Will we use it all? We're not sure, because as you see, there's HVAC issues. We're trying to accommodate in some of the buildings where we believe we needed to do some HVAC. You need certifications that it meets certain criteria, air quality standards. So we need that. So the key issue is that plan was done before we really would all sit down and really start to say, what are we doing? So now our budgets, it says the department heads, well, that's what this means. Our budget season generally starts August, September. We're in our budget season now. So during the budget season that we are now for 2022, which, you know, the budget committee will see, we'll begin to discuss what is it that we really need to do futuristically going forward. And some of the issues, obviously, will be this discussion of premium pay, which you all know we're going through options now, the best way to do this, and the issues that Marcus raised and other unions have raised is, do we look at, you know, it is a COVID-related issue, so under the American Rescue Plan, you can pay for that. If somebody got sick with COVID, can you use those funds to offset the sick time, as opposed to we're not accepting sick time? Those are all the issues that we're going to be exploring, and obviously on Friday that Marcus will raise that issue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My final to the county administrator and to answer that, and he's right. And we've had conversations back and forth when we talked about the Recovery Act money and how employees think they should get money, hazard pay, et cetera, et cetera. It's not a joke, but I always tell people, just use Atlantic City as your benchmark. I mean, we took help from the state of New Jersey, where the money came from the feds directly to the city, and then the state did a roadblock. Eventually, it passed, but we now have municipalities are calling, and what are the do's and the don'ts of using the recovery money for hazard. So, if you want a roadmap or benchmark, call Atlantic City. I tell you, if they've been through the ringer, we didn't have to go through what the city of Trenton went through. But because Atlantic City is unique, of course, the state of Atlantic City is always unique, because we're under state control. Our argument was this, and I'm done. It was that if you give this money to your employees, and our max was $3,500 per employee, everybody didn't get it. Part-timers didn't get it. If in fact you spent this money and the Fed says, well, how did you come to X, Y, and Z, and we couldn't justify it, then the city would be on the hook to pay that money back. And when I say the city, it's really the state, because they control the purse. So they held us up for a month and a half, only to find out we went to the proper channels. But I say that to say, I get calls from union members, and they want to know how to get hazard pay. And we've had this conversation. We talked about it, and you've indicated to us you're looking at different models, et cetera, see what works, what doesn't work. I'm hoping Friday is another one of those good meetings that everybody's not going to be happy. And I get that. But the process, as the old people say, in order to start the 1,000-mile journey, you got to take that first step. And so I think the commissioners and the administration have said, we hear you, how do we make something happen if in fact we can do that? So that's kind of like where we at.
Commissioner Dace.
Yeah, just quickly, I mean, obviously, I mean, one of the problems was the money from the federal government expired in January. Now you have the recovery money, which at some point is also going to not be there. You know, so, you know, as an educator, we've had these conversations, you know, with my coworkers almost every day. I mean, you have some more veteran teachers who have banked the days. Newer teachers have 10 sick days. You know, you're exposed. My building, the kids can get vaccinated. The elementary, they're not eligible yet. You know, so you're a close contact and you're out for 10, 15 days potentially. You know, whether you're sick, have symptoms, or you're vaccinated or not sometimes. You know, and that's going to have to be a negotiated item. So we need to think, you know, preparing for the budget, the money's going to go away. COVID's not. I mean, you know, and as, you know, is it a negotiated item? You know, everybody was opening up their negotiations at different times. The contracts expire at different times. Is this something the county needs to look at? Is the federal government going to step up and continue to provide that extra, you know, those COVID hours? You know, I think it wasn't even sick days, it was sick hours at the end of last year. You know, this is something we're going to have to look at going forward because, you know, I'm not a scientist, obviously, but everyone's saying it's not going to go away. And, you know, we're all dealing with the quarantine requirements. So we need to definitely make a plan moving forward for everyone. It can be negotiated, but again, you know, they're not all bargaining at the same time. So we have to be fair across the board to everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair?
Commissioner.
Yeah, may we get a copy of the report that Marcus has and any updates that were made to it and any future updates that may get
They're
made to
online.
that?
Just go online, you go to the homepage, I think it's right off the homepage.
They are.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then any updates to that, or that's always updated, Jerry?
That's what it was. No, that's it. It'll be updated as we go through the budget cycles, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I pulled a copy off. Any other comments from the commissioners? Anything else from the public?
Atlantic City was on.
Sir, you have to come to the podium and give you, that's okay, your name and the town you're from.
I work for Atlantic County Health Department. My name is Dan Crum. Been with the county 34 years. Atlantic City was on alternating schedules. They were on and off, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We worked the whole time. Environmentally, we worked the whole time. We didn't go on alternating schedules.
Well, I can tell you, if you really want, I mean, Bonnie is very, you know, she keeps us straight. I mean, she'll tell you that the hours that you get paid for are hours that you physically came into work. She's on, she can go through that. It's COVID related, so if you worked from home or you did not work, those hours cannot be paid for, otherwise you'll be reimbursing the federal government. Bonnie's here, Bonnie can go through some of that. I don't know if, you know, if she wants it, go through that now, I mean, it's whatever. But that's one of the keys for us, is to make sure we understand that if Jerry Del Rosso worked, you know, suppose he had to work 600 hours, and he only worked 300. He had 300 vacation, sick, family medical leave, you name it, with flexed his hour, whatever the case may be. He can't get paid for the 300 vacation, sick, whatever. That's not in the law. The law is very specific. You have to have been exposed to COVID. I think that's what Dan is saying.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I apologize. That was just the fact that if you're talking about hazard pay for anybody.
Right.
You made the point.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
that's all I want to
You
say.
made the point. Yeah, that's it. So that, they just want you to, right, that's.
I just wanted to know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Atlantic
Thank
City
you.
got
Yeah.
a certain sum of money that I heard about, and they weren't there half the time. While we were working, we actually delivered thermometers to people in Atlantic City that had COVID. Prior to us getting vaccinated, we were helping the nurses with the testing sites. We actually delivered the samples from the testing site up like 156 on the Parkway. Was it Edison or what was it? What was the name of the town? Anyway, we had to drive them, we had to take them and drop them off. It was like pretty scary. So, I'm sorry. That's all I
No,
want to
that's
say.
okay, we understand you've
Okay.
been in the thick of it for
Thank
us, and we
you.
thank you for that. Do we have any other comments from the public? Anybody on video? Okay. Do we have any comments for the good of the order? Nope. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.